Category 3, 4, and possibly 5 as well. We are still in that cone of uncertainty, so we don't know exactly where it's going to make landfall. But for us here in the Tampa Bay area, even staying offshore is still going to be a very critical storm for us as far as wind is concerned, and then the storm surge. Clearly, we're looking at a rain event where we can have up to a foot of rain, and as everyone knows, our community is already saturated with water. And so we have been working diligently to get the stormwater out of our community, opening up the drain lines, draining some of our stormwater retention ponds, doing all that we can to ensure that we can take this additional rain that comes our way. Earlier today, it was announced both Hillsborough County and Pinellas County are putting evacuation orders in place. Hillsborough County evacuation for Zone A is mandatory at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then a recommended for Zone B. Everyone that has been in this Tampa Bay area for any amount of time knows that we've dealt with these storms in the past, and we always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And so we are asking everyone that is in a mobile home needs to evacuate. And when we say evacuation, that doesn't mean you have to go to another state. You can go stay with friends and family that are in a location that's closer inland, a little more high and dry. Wind is an issue, it's always an issue, but the storm surges, those are the most deadly part of any one of these storms. And we are looking at the possibility of having 10 to 15 foot storm surge. And clearly that would be very devastating for our community. And just to put this in perspective, I was with the police department when I was a major in District 2. Charlie was supposed to be a direct hit, and the word that I saw most often in the media was devastation. And at the very last minute, Charlie took an eastwardly turn and went up the middle of the state. My point there is that we can never accurately predict these storms. It's Mother Nature, and the one element that wins 100% of the time is Mother Nature. Those of you who are new to our area, please heed these warnings. We've seen these storms get more dangerous through the last few years, and so you've got to heed these warnings. You can't make decisions at the last minute. Evacuate if you are in Zone A. We've got shelters open, 49 of them throughout the community. We have Heartline bus system that can provide bus service to the shelters. And then we got a call earlier that Uber was willing to give free rides to individuals to go to shelters. 49 shelters, some will accept pets, some are for special needs. So go on to tampa.gov/hurricane and all of the information is there. We are ready, the city of Tampa is prepared, and we want to ensure that all of our citizens are prepared and are heeding the warnings that are being given. We are in contact. I personally have been in contact clearly with everyone in the Tampa Bay area, but also on the state level with emergency managers, with all of our communications, with the port and with FEMA on the federal level. So we have resources that are staged in the area. TECO has trucks ready to come in when the electricity goes out. We have evacuation ambulances. The state has those pre-positioned, ready to evacuate individuals out of some of our ALFs, some of our nursing homes, and any of the hospitals that are needed. Here on the local level, since schools have been closed to start the shelters opening up, we have opened 19 locations, recreation centers, for those individuals who have to go to work. They can drop their children off at these locations. So I thank our Parks and Recreation staff for making those resources available. Everyone needs to stay informed. Things can change minute by minute. So sign up for @AlertTampa. As I said before, go to tampa.gov/hurricane. All the information that you need is right there. You can also, we are setting up our call centers as we speak, and that is 833-TPA-INFO, and that's 833-872-4636. So we have that call center open to answer anyone's questions here in the Tampa Bay area. This is going to be a storm like we have not seen in the past. Unless there's something that changes drastically, even if it tracks on the most westerly path, we're still going to have high winds and we're going to have storm surges. We have 120 some miles of coastline in the city of Tampa. You all know Tampa Bay is very shallow, and so bringing that water into our area is going to have dramatic effect. So we need everyone to heed the warnings and take action before it's too late. Now I'll open it up for any questions. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Shrisha Hills, Director of Parks and Rec. Just want to give a quick Sandbag update. We currently have 3 Sandbag locations open: Al Barnes Park, McFarland Park over at the Barksdale Senior Center, and Himes Avenue Sports Complex. We thank everybody for coming out to get it. We ask for your continued patience as the lines are growing. So there's a little bit of a line and the wait that's there. We understand the need, so therefore today we're going to extend the hours, a couple hours extra, so we'll go to 8 o'clock tonight at these same 3 locations. Thank you.
All right, anybody have questions? Mm-hmm. Yes, our wastewater crews have been out, and our wastewater plant is at the port. So we have individuals that will be at that location throughout the storm, and they will wait to the very last possible moment to shut off the pumps and lift those pumps up so that they don't become submerged. And at that point, the wastewater will be an issue, and if it gets to that, there will be wastewater that will be put out into the bay, but we will do everything in our power to ensure that that does not happen. For it to really affect, it has to be higher than what we've seen in our community. We've had some storm surges clearly with past storms, but again, we will have our people right there in the wastewater facility, and those pumps won't be moved until the very last second. And it's clearly our hope that we don't have to do that. That is something, it's a possibility. And again, we're just asking people, if you have the ability, whether you live in Zone A or you live in Zone B, that you can leave the area, go stay with relatives, stay with friends, stay in a hotel. If you can do that now, go ahead and do that. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is a big issue, and that's why a number of the shelters accept pets. Now you have to have the crate for your pets, they have to have their shots updated, and they have to be registered with the county. But we do have shelters that accept pets, special needs shelters. So all of that information is on our website, and it's also on Hillsborough County's website. I have not. I have spoken to Senator Scott, and I've also talked with Kevin Guthrie, the state emergency manager, on a number of occasions, and they have resources pre-staged. So we are working in lockstep, as I said before, with all of the entities, in Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, and then with the state and even on the federal level. I've had several calls today with FEMA and with the President's office as well. Excuse me? Yes, Gabe Amos is the representative from President Biden's office. Mm-hmm. Right. If you think about that, you know, as I said before, the only one with a 100% victory in their column is Mother Nature. And so if we're talking anywhere from 6-foot to 15-foot storm surges, that is an incredible impact on any of the coastal property. And I want everyone to understand the seriousness of this situation. And again, don't wait till the last minute. We can replace possessions, but we can't bring anybody back to life. And so we need everyone to cooperate. You know, we're not trying to instill fear. We're just asking everyone to be responsible, to be cognitive of what this storm can bring us. We just have to look at the last few years and how these storms have grown in severity throughout the United States. And Hurricane Ian is going to be a very strong storm. Yes. We have the ability all the way from all of our social media, television, sending out phone calls, alerts, and then we will also have our law enforcement officers. I've done this personally over the years, where you will literally go drive down streets and give these alerts over and over and over, ensuring that everyone hears. And when it comes to the vulnerable population, those individuals that may not have transportation issues, may have some type of a special need, we're there for them as well, making sure that they have the transportation that they need to some of the shelters. We check ahead of time with all of our ALFs and all of our nursing homes in the city of Tampa to ensure that their generators are topped off and they're in working order. And we also have been in conversation with Paul Anderson at the port to talk about our fuel. The fuel supply is topped off at the port, and then we will be bringing in ships as soon as we are able to bring in other ships and then get those gas supplies out, not only for our first responders, but also for the general public in this area. Yes. I do. I think that from what I've seen, I've been out there on the streets, I've been to the Sandbag locations, I've been to the stores. I'm seeing that individuals have spent the weekend preparing and that they are taking this very seriously. And that's a couple of the questions that I've been asked repeatedly is, you know, we've seen a huge influx of individuals moving to our city. And so those are the individuals that I really want to have this message resonate with, that these storms are very serious and you need to take the steps necessary now and not wait until the last minute. I don't know anybody that could be complacent. I've been here my entire life, 62 years, and I tell you, just the strength and the severity of these storms over the past few years, this is nothing to, you know, to make light of or to plan a hurricane party. You know, I feel bad for anybody that's being complacent and not paying attention to this. You know, we need to prepare. If somehow it changes course, then clearly that would be the best for our community. Making landfall in a rural area, clearly, as opposed to a very densely populated urban area like Tampa, would be a better outcome. But right now, the prediction is that we are going to be impacted by Hurricane Ian. I don't know what the number of those are, but we do that throughout the rainy season to ensure that we don't have flooding in some of those areas that we've seen it in the past. And as everyone's aware, there was a stormwater surcharge passed some years ago, and we've already completed 3 of those major stormwater projects. And so what that does is takes that water out of those low-lying areas and gets it out into the bay or into the stormwater ponds. I was actually out at a site yesterday where one of our stormwater teams, there was a palm tree that had been planted a few feet and the roots had grown down into the storm drain. And they literally had to chop all of that, physically chop that out so that that water could make its way out to the bay. Yes, we've had that conversation as well, and that would be the upper deck of the Selman Expressway, and so those conversations have been taking place as well. And that decision will be made, obviously, in concert with Pinellas County and others, the Expressway Authority, Hillsborough County. But once again, I'll say, don't wait till the last minute, because the worst thing that we can have are our citizens sitting in a traffic jam when the storm is on its way. All right. Also, for those individuals that are going to the shelters, remember to bring your prescriptions, bring your important documents and papers. Just think about that list of what you need to have with you when you do go to a shelter. All right, thank you guys. I really appreciate you making the time.